Welcome to NocBro Nation.
Welcome back, guys. Jarrell here.
And I'm Josh, and we're here to talk about the CRM. Were they underwhelming? Was the storyline underwhelming? And CRM, do they have other factions around the world? France.
Yep. Yeah, guys, just want to talk about the overall story of the CRM, of what we got sprinkled from the main series, Fear the Walking Dead, what we saw in World Beyond, what we saw in The Ones Who Live, to basically now the CRM being completely eradicated, and the information that Major General Bill mentioned that potentially the CRM could have been worldwide, or that was maybe his plans to become worldwide. We don't really know for sure. But
Underwhelming.
The first question, yeah.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. I mean, to span multiple shows, be present in multiple episodes, be a huge part in two series, The World Beyond and then The Ones Who Live. I don't think so. I don't think it was underwhelming. I mean, what more could you have done? I mean, they literally wiped out two communities. Is it two or more?
Two major. Well, one. Portland wasn't, but it was Omaha Campus Colony.
I'm counting Campus Colony.
Campus Colony was less,
10,000.
Still 10,000.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, we got details from the plans that they were going to do on Portland to the reclamation team that we saw in Fear the Walking Dead. I think we got a lot of information about this group. So I guess the question then that I would ask is, how do you define if something's underwhelming?
So what this is based off of is like comments that I've seen and articles that I've seen where a lot of people felt that in the time span from the end of the Ones Who Live series, when the summit was destroyed to when Rick and Michonne got home, let's just say that happened over a span of a couple months. A lot of people felt that it seemed to have happened very, very fast, that the Civic Republic completely eradicated and reformed everything. And people kind of felt that, okay, throughout the Walking Dead universe and the Walking Dead main show, Fear the Walking Dead, yeah, we got sprinkles of the CRM, which was perfect because the CRM wasn't going to be a focal point in those series, but we got small little doses, and we got even more small doses in Fear the Walking Dead because of Al and Isabel and things kind of mixed together, and then with the nuclear explosion and stuff. Then we got a little bit deeper into it in World Beyond. Now, a lot of those fans, there's still a lot of people in the fandom who haven't seen World Beyond, and they even asked us in the comments, like, hey, should I go watch World Beyond after watching, The Ones Who Live just to get more information? And I said, yes, go watch it. It's good. You'll get more insight on Jadis, the CRM's testing, all that kind of stuff. So just a lot of people felt the reason that we're calling it underwhelming in quotes is just they felt that the CRM was built for so long up to be this massive, massive group, which is going to be the main villain in this series. And it was completely eradicated and reformed very quickly.
Yeah,
and gone.
I mean, that's because we had an overview, right? Like we had literally like a news broadcast giving us the 10,000 foot view of what that disbanding and what overtaking of that CRM group, did, and how that happened. Let me ask you this: if we had another movie, probably would have saw more of that, right? Or another couple of episodes.
Yeah.
Maybe we saw that, but again, it goes back to this wasn't a story about the CRM,
not a full 100% story, no. Yeah. And that's kind of what I mentioned. I think in the end of our reaction, I kind of said, yeah, it would have been cool to see, shots of like the Civic Republic, having people on trial, but putting them in prison, going through the reform with the government. Yeah. But that would have taken so much time, and it wasn't the focal point of the Ones Who Live story.
But here's the problem with that.
Yeah,
we were introduced to no
one.
Civic Republic government.
None.
We were introduced to no, leadership from that side of things. And then here's another thing: who's left from Beale's part of this that we knew, right? As the viewer. So as the viewer,
we only knew Lieutenant Kublik, but she's in jail.
But as the viewer watching this, it would have had to be multiple episodes to introduce characters that would have had to have been done in the previous episodes. Like otherwise, you're just like, okay, who's this? Well, I don't understand what's it wouldn't have felt right.
They could have done it, even though like I'm more saying it like they didn't have to spend like another episode or two to actually introduce characters. They could have done it. So during the reading of the Reform, in a way, they could have just done some quick flashbacks of just showing people like, the Civic Republic, like, governor of the Republic in courtrooms, in things, signing treaties, signing papers, just kind of see visuals of it as they're reading it. Not so to speak like, we got to spend a half an episode introducing the Civic Republic government side. Yes, it would have been cool to see if this series would have been expanded a little bit longer, then they would have had time to do it. But I don't really.
But again, doesn't that take away from
it takes
our
away
story
it does.
of Rick
it
getting
does.
home?
Yeah. So my opinion is I do not feel the CRM story was underwhelming. No. I felt that they did this. It was actually a pretty good way to introduce an eventual massive villain by sprinkling in small bits and pieces into each show. World Beyond was meant for this. The World Beyond was meant to get the majority of the information about CRM, the inner lyings of CRM, right? And everything that Jadis was doing, which helped to then lead into The Ones Who Live. Because, we're going to be in CRM again, but you're going to understand a lot from The World Beyond because you're going to know that they completely wipe out communities like they did with Omaha and Campus Colony. You get the reason for why. In that show, you get the reason why a little bit further in from Major General Beale. You get to look at their testing. They're testing A's and B's of what they're trying to do.
It was a medical facility, though.
It was a medical facility. Yeah,
I think if anything,
it was done well.
So my next statement was going to be, if anything, I think World Beyond did it wrong, right? Because I think World Beyond should have had two parts of the story: CRM, Civic Republic.
Yeah.
That's when we should have introduced the Civic Republic.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
And we should have had a whole backstory with both of those, because we didn't find out until The Ones Who Live that the Civic Republic wouldn't allow the military into their city. They had to sit on the outskirts of their city.
That's true. Yeah, we didn't know that.
We didn't know that.
Yeah. In World Beyond, we got a bit. The only thing that we really got in World Beyond was I think it was some treaty that was coming up, and it was a treaty that
Four Corners Treaty.
I don't know about the Four Corners Treaty, but there was a specific treaty between the Civic Republic, Omaha, and Portland, where the Civic Republic allowed the military. It was like a 10-year treaty, so it was a 10-year treaty to build everything up, make everything good, and then the CRM, the military aspect, gives that power back to the Civic Republic. The civilian side, the government. Yeah. And what was happening was that Beale was creating a coup to then keep that power and not give it back. And we only saw like maybe flashes of like newspaper clippings and things, but you are absolutely right. Yeah. If they would have given us more in World Beyond of the Civic Republic, the civilian government side, and the military, that would have been the best place for it. Yeah. The CRM and World Beyond was dealt more. We weren't in Philadelphia. We were on the outskirts at a medical facility the majority of the time. But we got to see Jadis. We got to see Jadis talk to Beale, but mostly through radio communications. But that would have been the perfect opportunity. Yeah. I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, and so from that aspect, I think that World Beyond was more underwhelming than the overall story. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah. I did think it was a great story.
It was.
And it got better in the last part of the episodes, but
last part of the season.
Yeah. I just think that we needed more on the overall Civic Republic. And I honestly think you probably could have done a different show on it.
Probably. Yeah.
But
yeah, World Beyond, it was a good show. I do agree with you that I think I agree the underwhelming part of CRM was in World Beyond. Yes, we got some really cool stuff on the medical facility side. They're researching their overall plans. They never mentioned the echelon in that, but when you see them wipe out a community of 10,000 and then Omaha of over almost 90,000, yeah. Now their reasoning was because they were, they're too reliant on them and they're more considered a threat, which is basically what Beale said in the end. But yeah, I mean, you get to see the underlyings, but I think they could have done more in World Beyond. Truthfully, they could have done more, but they didn't. And it was kind of their story arc just for the kids and the overall piece of that, which was fine. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we didn't find out until The Ones Who Live about the Civic Republic. And I actually thought that was really interesting, really cool and interesting.
They don't allow them in the city.
They wouldn't even allow them in their city.
That's perfect.
Like, their base literally was on the outskirts of the city. Like it was. I thought it was a really cool.
It was cool.
addition.
Like you said, we didn't get that information to Ones Who Live, and that was fascinating. Like, we don't allow you over here.
What kind of power do you have?
You know,
in and of itself, like what kind of, like, we knew that Beale had power,
right?
And that just brings up more questions. What kind of power do you have as the government of the Civic Republic to stop a literal military from going into your territory?
Yeah, look across the river.
Yes.
They have helicopters. They have ammunitions. They could come in there if they want to.
Who's running that?
Exactly. Like that's what I agree with you on, is like, if they would have given us more of the Civic Republic government side, like to really understand how these two factions, in a way, the civilian side and the military side, are truly being governed. Who's making these decisions? Who's vetoing these decisions? Who's trying to commit a coup? And we know Beale is, but are they do they have CRM people infiltrated in the Civic Republic to kind of do deceiving things and change things from the inside to their benefit? Exactly. Like that in itself. Could have been like a short miniseries.
That's what I'm saying. Like they could have done
a 6-episode miniseries of the Civic Republic and military, just that together.
But I think
that could have been cool.
I think it could have been more, because if you put some interesting characters in there that viewers will fall in love with, you could stretch a show out like that for 5-6 seasons, depending on the material,
right? I'm kind of going off of the limited aspect, like 2 seasons, like a 10-episode 2 limited season, like they did with World Beyond, just sticking to the Civic Republic government and CRM of that could have been perfect. That would have been awesome. Because like World Beyond was full of all new characters. They sprinkled in Jadis, but it was all new characters we had to learn, and you could easily have done that.
Don't you think it's interesting how we never found out the truth about what's his name
from
the black guy, the character on The Walking Dead that disappeared?
Heath.
Heath.
He was sold.
Like,
Heath was not a B, he was an A, but who knows?
Like, I think we got Angela Kang that confirmed that he died, right?
No, he didn't. No, she confirmed that he was sold. Jadis sold him to the CRM for supplies.
That's fucked up.
Because if you remember, Jadis had the RV in the junkyard. Yeah. But we never. That's why a lot of people were like, "Are we going to see Heath in The Ones Who Live, or maybe Silas from the World Beyond?" No, his status is still unknown. Yeah, I don't. In a way, I kind of always said I don't think Heath was a B, a leaderish type person. He was probably given to them as an A as a test subject, unfortunately. But
fucked up, dude. That's so fucked up.
It is, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, well, dude, think about it like this. Jadis was giving Rick to the CRM as an A.
Yeah,
he was going to go as an A, but she saw the strength. He's a B. But he had to hide that because they don't like people who are leaders. They turn them into A's. But yeah. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Do you think Heath was a B or an A? Let us know. He could be alive. No idea. Man. But so yeah. In the end, I don't feel the world. I don't think the Civic Republic, the CRM story, was underwhelming. I think they could have done more with it. I think what they could have done was, after World Beyond, they could have done that separate series to kind of expand more into it, leading up to the Ones Who Live. I think that would have been perfect, dude. Yeah. That would have been awesome to get that detail. Now going back to Major General Beale saying that the CRM potentially could have had forces abroad. Now, he was saying that, the CRM wants to be the main group in the United States and worldwide. Now, from those comments, we don't know if he's mentioning that he wanted to expand worldwide, or they already kind of have factions abroad. Don't know that question.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. I think.
What do you think?
I'll tell you this. I think the showrunners were doing everything they could to not give us any CRM inclination. Within the if I'm saying that,
the broader
right,
universe inclination.
Yeah. Did I say it right?
I think you did. Yeah.
In the Daryl Dixon series, like we saw nothing, not a CRM logo, not a mention,
Yeah.
nothing. And they did that on purpose, either because CRM simply doesn't have a presence there, or they do, and they're just waiting for a bigger reveal. But the question is, why reveal it now when the CRM's dissolved?
CRM's done, and if it's in the same timeline as Daryl Dixon, then those factions either haven't gotten word yet, or they just don't,
or they're still running things.
They're still running things over there. Yeah, don't know. It's a really good mystery. The only connection that I remember Scott Gimple mentioning in Daryl Dixon was the connection for the post-credit scene in World Beyond regarding the beginnings of the virus, of how it potentially started in France. It was the Primrose team and another team, and that's kind of where the variants are coming in with Madame Genet doing the testing, and also the scientist who's with her. That was kind of more on that post-credit scene because that has nothing to do with the CRM. Would I like to see the CRM has already been parts of Abroad?
Now that they're over, no,
not really,
not really,
because they're more going to be They're more going to be like rogue factions.
If Beale had gotten away somehow, and but still got disbanded from the Civic Republic, maybe was able to keep some of his military. Okay. Yeah. I'd say let's do this, but not now.
No,
the story's over.
The story's done. Yeah, I mean the story's been dissolved. It's over with. The CRM is no more. I'm sure the Civic Republic is still going to keep a piece of it as like their military, but as you saw from the helicopter, it just has one circle now. I don't know if you saw it.
No,
people were making fun of it like it has one circle now.
Where?
So when we saw Michonne and Rick flying home, there's one part, and then there's other helicopters that are flying over on the tail wing.
It's just
got one circle, which is cool. I mean, you're uniting into one because previously the three circles were the three communities: Civic Republic, Omaha, Portland. Yeah, but now it's one circle. But I don't think there's a need for the CRM to be abroad because that story now is done. The Daryl Dixon series, I think, is going to be heavily on the post-credit scene from World Beyond about the Primrose team, the creation of the virus. Did France truly do this? And the mutation of the virus, which are creating all these variants over there. We saw a sprinkle of variants in our main series, so we know that Madame Genet is actually shipping, either bringing in walkers from other areas of the world, but we don't know if they're shipping them back. We don't know if they're shipping variants to the United States, to Canada, to other countries to say, here, let these variants roam, mutate, and let's get crazy with it. Don't know that yet, but to me, it has nothing to do with the CRM at all.
Yeah.
No, for me, no. I don't. I'm fine with how they ended the CRM story. We're good with it. It's not underwhelming to us. It's over.
Yeah.
Let's start something different.
Agreed. I mean, my next discussion would be about Daryl Dixon because honestly, other than that and Dead City, that's all we have left, right? I mean, Daryl Dixon.
Yeah. We'll save that for another video. We got some Walking Dead news. We'll talk about that stuff.
But the only question I would have is, what are they going to continue with the Daryl Dixon series, and will that springboard into other things, possibly involving Rick? So
yeah, for sure. So yeah, guys, let us know what your thoughts are on the CRM story. Do let us know in the comments if you have not watched World Beyond, or if you did, how'd you enjoy it? If you haven't watched it, I would recommend watching it. If you want to get a little more insight about the CRM, what Jadis was doing during that time frame, it's a good series to watch to get that information.
Watch it again, then watch The Ones Who Live Again.
Yeah, definitely. Let us know your thoughts on the CRM story. Were you happy with it? Did you enjoy getting the sprinkles that we got into the other shows, and then culminating to what we saw in The Ones Who Live, and how it's gone now? It's reformed. The CRM story is done. Yeah. That's really about it. I think in the end, truthfully, I think in the end, yes, the CRM was big, but not as big as the Civic Republic. The Civic Republic had 200,000 people. The CRM only
10,000.
Because the elite troops were only about a little over 2,000.
2,000, yeah, and then there were others.
And then there were others sprinkled around, but
because he said the phrase, "I've given this briefing
2,000 times.
Over 2,000?
Yeah, 2,000 times. So it was really his elite core. So only 2,000 people know about the echelon briefing. The rest are just part of the military. So you could probably say that maybe the military had, I'd say less than 10,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a lot of people, but it's not like that's not
a lot of people with weapons.
It's a lot of people with weapons, but you can say it's, I mean, the regular citizens could try to take them out. I mean,
that's what I'm saying is how powerful are you that you can take out a military?
Exactly. Yeah. Now, even though
pretty powerful.
Now, even though the Civic Republic had 200,000, are we taking out 10,000 of that for the campus colony? Are we taking out almost 90,000 of that from Omaha?
I don't think so.
Or is it 200,000 within Philadelphia?
It's Philadelphia.
Yeah, dude. That's hardcore.
Yeah.
So, yeah, guys, let us know your thoughts in the comments. We thoroughly enjoyed the CRM story. We hope that maybe there's something new that they're going to come up with. We got Daryl Dixon, we got Dead City, but hopefully maybe they'll come up with a new series or something that make it start a new story or something like that. So let us know your thoughts, and we'll see you in the next one. I'm Jarrell.
I'm Josh.
We're NocBro Nation.
We're out.